Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful, empowered harmonizers. We're zooming in and focusing in a little bit more and a great viewer question, a little bit more in depth, and how to really sort of calm down, how to become centered and refocused in life and on what's good for you, what makes you happy after you have been traumatized or misled or strung along by someone who has been perhaps extremely manipulative and has been deceitful and deceptive and who has betrayed you, someone who could be malignant, narcissistic, or psychopathic, be it or male or female. How do you calm down? This is a great viewer question because when you get through the stages of the relationship, so once again, usually there's a very common pattern in a relationship with a narcissist or a psychopath, which begins with the love bombing, the devaluing, and the discarding. And so the love bombing means when everything is sing-songy, everything is just floating along. Oftentimes this feels like the one, this person is the best, this person is the nicest to me. Whatever it is, there's a real specific need that usually one is open to, vulnerable, that they're generally unaware of, and they just get sort of swept off their feet. So it's usually like not a sort of usual relationship. And it can also harken back to cycling back to alleviating oftentimes a traumatizing situation in one's past. In other words, the relationship that you've encountered is to help you decode and rework and reevaluate situations that had been fundamental or formative to you in your earlier life, that laid you open or susceptible or vulnerable to being essentially emotionally abused or taken advantage of in this relationship. So if we look at sort of that cycle and that pattern circling back, it's important that you understand that personal connection to you in order to calm down, in order to stop from being so worked up or wondering why does this relationship particularly trigger you. And to how do you stop then that trigger, sort of that switch that gets switched on and then can last for days, weeks, months, or even for years, where it becomes the new normal, it becomes the new baseline, it becomes the new regular for you, to be sort of playing the game, getting worked up and then making up, getting worked up, making up again, having fights and resolving. Sure, there's always going to be misunderstandings and then resolution, but the peaks and valleys become very accentuated in this type of relationship and oftentimes creates a cycle of addiction. The tension and then relief, the tension and relief keeps this pattern going, and it causes people to get very worked up and stuck in that agitated state, especially when you try to resolve it. The person doesn't text you back. You find out that they're on the other line. They've got another job. They've got another relationship. They've had this going for some time, and they've hid it from view, particularly your view. Other people might be clued in. Other people in their inner circle or their inner supply realize that these people take supply. They don't take relationships. It's really whoever can satisfy their needs, to get them to where they want to go. These people tend to use others as real stepping stones to get from one place to another, from one job to another, from one gig to another, from one weekend or season to another. Flavor of the month, flavor of the year, whatever it is. That's kind of how these people operate. And to be labeled as such does not really bother the narcissist or the psychopath. Oftentimes they have no problem. Part of the issue why people get stuck then on that sort of traumatized nervousness and have, they're so worked up because their body, you're basically egging yourself along with the thoughts. So the thoughts keep that pattern spinning. And, the fact that it's unfair, unjust, immoral, and you're trying to settle the score. So there becomes this sort of relationship long settling of the score, which then the narcissist or the psychopath just slip through. Exit stage left, exit stage right. They're just nowhere to be found and uncommunicative. So if you're stuck in that sort of feeling devalued and then feeling devalued, number one, to help yourself calm down and to stop being so worked up is to understand that the communicated, either overtly or covertly communicated messages are that, you're not worth the time of day, I can't be honest with you, and everything seems to be held against another, and then you're recapitulating or feeling that you're then compared to some other ideal that you are not going to meet, that perhaps is not ever realistic, not ever attainable for these individuals. The narcissist and the psychopath oftentimes have these sort of very unrealistic, unattainable relationship dynamics that can't keep going for very long without people, either not staying, not hanging around, or not tolerating it. So if you have been one who has tolerated it for way too long, then that's probably why you're so worked up. People get into a frenzy. They work themselves up. They can't get centered. They can't get focused. They can't get their breathing together. Their routine can be all over the place, lacking structure. So the structure of your outlook at relationships, number one, need to look back and how is it cycling back towards a previous relationship that laid you open, vulnerable to tolerating this cycle of tension and being devalued, being left behind, being ignored, not treated as you're important or disrespected. And why did you hang on? I can't get another person like this. This person is so unique. There's no one else like this. This person is so cute. This person is so gorgeous, so handsome. There's probably a long list of excuses. Maybe you've got kids together. I will love you forever. I mean, these are the sort of commitments that people speak unto this person as well as to themselves. But if you have held yourselves overly responsible and accountable for the well-being of the relationship and the well-being of this person, perhaps you were a rescue, or this person rescued you from what you thought was a miserable situation. There's all sorts of reasons why you can say very stuck and very blocked in the relationship. In other words, looking into your heart, perhaps there's something about you that you don't feel strong enough about to be able to exit the relationship and be calm and centered about. In other words, I am a person of worth. You have to come to that aha moment, to that realization as a human being with trillions and trillions of cells, with all sorts of life experiences and the gift of life. You deserve to feel good. You deserve to not be taken advantage of. Okay? Can we get an agreement? You don't deserve to be disrespected. You don't deserve to, have someone beating around the bush, dragging, you through a pathological series of lies. These people are pathological liars, meaning abnormal pathology, of disease, and of sickness. And if this is this person's sickness, don't be made sick by this individual. It unequivocally is not worth it. Life is too short. Life is difficult enough and a struggle enough nowadays with everything moving so quickly in the information age to be wondering and to using technology to your disadvantage, to being distracted by trying to remedy another person's lying issues, to remedy another person's commitment issues, to remedy another person's affection issues. Are you trying to rescue this person for some reason? Prove them that that they can, balance out a relationship. Did you stay on too long to try to show that love will heal all? I love you enough for the both of us. What are the tenets and the principles that were guiding you to stay in that relationship for too long? Perhaps you were married, or in your family or in your workplace, where basically it gets complicated. People might need to move, etc. So we understand you getting worked up. So of course you have legitimate anger and legitimate frustration. But you have to come to the awareness and breathe through the feeling that I am good enough. I am worth being treated with respect. If you were not treated with respect in your family growing up, then you can understand how that thread would remain consistent through your relationship dynamics in the way you had your standards and your boundaries set up. If your boundaries were non-existent or not enforced or not felt or known what they are, then perhaps this relationship is the relationship to teach you, that you have boundaries and you deserve to be treated with respect. So you need to, in the privacy of this video, can you unequivocally agree with the statement, you deserve to be treated with respect? You deserve to be treated with fairness. You deserve to be treated with honesty. You deserve to be given a chance to be heard and listened to. You deserve to be understood. You deserve to have eye contact and affection. You deserve for someone to give you a hug and not to have it with strings attached. You deserve to be treated fairly and not have strings attached. Oftentimes there's way too many conditions and the relationships becomes too conditional based on how handsome you are, how pretty you are, how much work you do for them. Are you always taking them out? Are you always coming up with all the ideas? Is it a one-way street and you thought that this is how the relationship was going to work? Does this harken back to relationship situations in the past where you were not treated well, so it caused you to become unaware, numb to, or unacknowledging of how to validate and acknowledge what the mistreatment was, and then how to deal with it, how to call it up and say, right in the moment that it first occurred, to say, you know what, this isn't going to work out. I need to be communicated with. You know what, this isn't going to, work out. I deserve to be spoken to in, a neutral or somewhat positive tone. I don't deserve to be referenced this way with swear words, to be falsely accused. What is the situation that now has you worked up because now you can't find a closure? You can't come to that cycle anymore. You're no longer going around in circles. You're no longer participating in the crazy making. So to back off from that overworked up feeling is to agree and understand that what you deserve. You are good enough. You are a person of worth. You do have great qualities about you that are redeemable, that you own, that belong to you. Whether it's cooking, listening, discussing philosophically, being a handy person, whatever, you know that you have strengths, being a good companion. These are things that you need to understand and own about yourself, and realizing that this person or persons took advantage of these positive qualities and basically depleted you, and now you're trying to resolve it with them and they're nowhere to be found. They won't listen, they won't talk, they don't get it, they don't understand. So sad. It's not that you want to have a pity party for yourself, you just want to have discussion and come to some functional terms about how you can get along in life, and not to have this sort of defeat weighing on you. And so, number one, realize that these individuals, this is what they do. It has nothing to do with you. It is what it is. I can't believe this happened to me. The shock, the confusion, these are all valid feelings. But to get, to stop being worked up, understand the connection that, set you to the crossroads of this relationship where you find yourself there. And then furthermore, what do you need to understand about what transpired in the relationship that you can change moving forward? This is an opportunity for change and an opportunity for understanding, an opportunity for growth, an opportunity to recognize what you will and will not tolerate or put up with, which is known as your boundaries, which mean I am good enough, and then your standards, i.e. if this happens, it's a no-go. Even if I don't have somebody, even if this is whomever, it is what it is, and I am moving on unequivocally, and the universe will provide for me that which I feel I am missing or lacking. Know that the universe is there to satisfy your needs and will be jubilant to satisfy your needs. But you need to get, through that worked up process and just relax, calm down. Realize the couple of things to get centered and focused is to understand that you deserve what we have just stated. You need to feel that within. You need to feel that, and you need to live it. You need to own it. You need to breathe through it. You need to brush your teeth with that feeling, take your shower, do your work, etc. And if you find yourself having these moments, where you're just sort of spewing out and embarrassing yourself, well, you need to get that toxicity out. It's to show you it is literally emotional poison. I am not exaggerating. It is toxin. It is poison. It is not conducive to wellness and health within the body. It is very important that we, especially on the emotional basis, look at what you're doing and to stop abusing oneself. While especially one is younger, the body can take a lot. We're learning, discussing things. But as you get older, things are going to catch up, and these patterns unequivocally need to be changed, no matter how long it can be changed. But you need to understand what the pattern looks like, feels like, sounds like, looks like, smells like, sounds like when this is going on, and then how to stop it in its tracks immediately and to have the confidence to do so. So it might not become automatic. You might need to have that processing time, where you go, OMG, this is what's happening and I am dealing with it. And to make that commitment to yourself, know that you're worth it, and then to understand that this is what this person does. Just because they don't have remorse, guilt, or apologize doesn't mean that it wasn't wrong. You're not going to hear these things from this person. You're not going to oftentimes hear, I'm sorry, it didn't work out, you're a great person, just move on. You're not going to hear these things that you want to hear from this person. So if you're waiting around or staying worked up because you're waiting for them to perhaps, try to work things out again, realize it's in your best interest to let them go, and to let that role that you were taking in the relationship go. Let that role go. I'm no longer taking advantage, and abusing myself emotionally, no longer abusing myself physically, by overeating, over drinking, over drugging, not getting enough sleep, not working, not having a balanced, schedule, all the different things that how it looked playing out in your life, the crazy making. I will no longer participate in the crazy making. Period. End of story. Divert your eyes, divert your phone, divert your ears, divert your gut. Calm down and make a commitment. It has to be a level of commitment to yourself. I'm no longer playing the crazy making game. I am exiting stage left. I am exiting stage right. Adios, bye-bye, baby, bye-bye-bye. It's done. Period, end of story. You need to have that level of, I am done. No more is now. You need to have that declaration, put your foot down and know it. This has to unequivocally be where you are free of self-doubt so that you can calm down and then know that moving forward, that it's, like an arrow, it's going to go to the bullseye. It's going to go into the center because you're centered when you aim and focus. It's not where you've got sort of the crazy arrow, the crazy making arrow. You try to go for your future like an arrow, you're pulling it back, and then it just goes backwards. And you're like, where's, and you're just in that vicious cycle. Realize that now, when you keep your eye on the future and you're no longer held up, things will become more progressive and not only non-linear growth, but linear growth, meaning you're rising up, you're transcending, and you are calm. And you are patient, knowing that because you've made the decision doesn't mean that you're going to find that new person or everything is going to be hunky-dory. It's going to take place moving forward now, but you have to have those new boundaries and standards in place to know that when this crosses your path again, you're not tempted, you're not seduced, you're not fooled. So that then when you make decisions, your life feels like it's going somewhere. It's going forward. It's taking you places. You're now doing things that you actually have wanted to do, and you're stalling yourself from not doing the things, going the places, becoming who you want and deserve to be. This is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today, and I hope that these videos do help. Please subscribe, please donate, and please share for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support. Stay centered, stay focused, stay clear, stay cognizant and mindful of your boundaries and your standards now and moving forward. Your life will now take you places. You have got this, and you can do this. Peace out. Have a beautiful day.